Hi guys, welcome to a new show. My name is Laura from PleiadianHealer.com. Welcome to this channel wherever you find me. So today we're going to go through some really fun comments. I always love to do this and kind of explain them or debunk whatever concepts coming up in them. And the reason I like these is because I do respond to a lot of comments, as you guys have noticed. But typically, I'm not sure people actually reread the comments and the comment replies that I put there. So I think this video might be a little bit enlightening, especially when it comes to certain topics that are very much New Age related. And the comments I specifically want to go through are the ones that were left on the angels video, because those type of topics tend to always trigger people, especially New Agers or recovering New Agers or people who just don't want to turn their lives around, how I like to see it at this point. Because if you're still believing in that somehow, if you're still giving your power away to these type of entities, you haven't really understood the message that I'm conveying and what my channel is really about. But let's get into a few of these comments. So I'm going to go through a few videos. I'm going to go through the Angels or Archangels video. There was one comment on the ayahuasca video, and there's also a few comments on this entire sacred geometry. And people got triggered because they're like, oh, you can find sacred geometry in nature, which I actually want to address, and how nature was converted to AI a long time ago. So let's go through this entire why calling in angels or archangels and spirit guides is detrimental comment video. A few comments that actually confirm. So I'm just going to go through them as I see them here. Okay, so not necessarily gonna name names or whatever, but one person saying, I just recently had an awakening to the false protection prayer to Arch Raphael. I've been asking for protection for years every morning and recently got terribly sick with bronchitis. I haven't had bronchitis for many years prior. I didn't quite understand why I had been deceived more or less and decided to back off my daily protection prayers for a while. Then I came across your broadcast, which confirmed my disappointment in getting sick. And I basically just told this person, well, that should tell you everything you need to know. If you're calling in these entities, asking them for protection, and you're getting terribly sick or your life's going to hell, that's all you need to know. Then you should definitely stop what you're doing. Another comment was literally just that. This person was saying, my life went to hell when I started working with them. And I actually can't find it right now. So we need to scroll up a little bit more. Okay. Are there higher beings looking out for us? If there are chances, are they in the form of energy and light? They will not tell us how we live our lives or what to do, and mostly stay back and respect our free will. They may have left the keys and blueprints for us to start to empower ourselves, but they do not interfere. The true paths were designed for us to find our power, and being on many true paths that have also been taken down detours and corrupted. And then I basically just said, so I think that in the essence of it, this person's trying to say, if there were these beings out there, if they really were benevolent, they wouldn't tell you what to do. And I completely agree with that. You know, they have no business telling you how to live your life. Like, why are you even asking them for advice? Honestly, like you're the only one who can live your life. You're steering your own vehicle. The fact that so many people just love to hand their power over continuously from one entity to another is very concerning. And I'll go into that further along in this video too. And so another person was saying, I really enjoy listening to you confirm that you are absolutely right about this. I also have stories about being severely misguided. Some years ago, I was going through a really tumultuous time in my life. Back then, I was heavily into the New Age, the angels, etc., and ended up nearly homeless with strange people in a strange place. I was really scared, not knowing how I got myself into all these difficulties. I remember asking angel oracle cards for guidance, and I pulled a card which said something along the lines of, enjoy these good times with your family. It's like they were making fun of me. And I basically just said, I'm glad to get out of that place. It's scary when it happens and the world around you falls apart. Because actually, I myself, so some people know this, especially the ones that have been following my channel. And I also put it up in my story somewhere on my website. And I might put this video up on YouTube. I'm not entirely sure. But actually, people who've been following me for a while know that I actually ended up in a pretty similar situation when I was in Australia. And for 6 months straight, I was in a place where I think originally I was only supposed to be for a few weeks or months. I definitely was not supposed to be there for a year like I had originally planned. And I was for sure not supposed to be there for years and years to come, such as was wrongly predicted by certain psychics and ego gurus that I expose on this channel, where I actually had a psychic reading with one of them and I took workshops with another of them. So I'm not talking, into thin air when I say these people are very deceptive and they're very dangerous, because two of them for sure ruined my life, because I actually took advice from them, which I never had any business to do. I know in hindsight now what was going on, but I ended up almost homeless in Australia. And I say almost. The reason for almost is because I have a very strong support network, and that's my family and that's my very close friends. And they were definitely able to help me even from so far away. And emotionally, I think I was just at a point in my life where I was already emotionally so advanced that emotionally I could handle whatever I was going through. Had I been 10 years younger, like a lot of these backpackers are in Australia, they're like 18, 19 years old. Had I been at that age, I'm not sure I could have handled Australia. I'm going to be honest with you. And I talked to other people about this, who were also closer to my age back then. They were like, they would have never been ready for a trip like that had they been like literally teenagers, because it can be rough, honestly, like so far away from everyone, like deserted on this huge island, which is a continent. It can be very hard because the energy in Australia is very harsh. But basically, that was back then when I was still in the new age as well. And that's pretty much the last year I was in it. And then I exited it because of all the situations I had. I ended up in a similar concerning situation where I knew all these oracle card readers, all these psychics, all this bullshit. It's literally just driving you deeper down a rabbit hole you don't want to be in. It's driving you deeper into the mud too, and you need to get out of the mud right now. So I was in full-on survival mode, and that's also when I decided I need to get out of here. I need to go to where my sanity can recover and where people actually love me, and that's not going to be there. So, I'm not talking out of my behind here when I say how dangerous it can be. I've had the rock bottoms in my life, and they mostly did come from the new age. I've had extremely dark thoughts from these entities planted in my head. And I know other people experience them all the time too. So I know I'm not the only one. It's part of being a targeted individual, and it's part of really these entities messing with you because they want to drive your vehicle. They basically want you out of your body. They want to take over in a walk-in, and they want to drive your vehicle and drive it into the ground. And as long as I can help at least one person with this channel to get your sanity back, to get in full control of your body and your soul, we're good. Mission accomplished, and I think I am doing that to a certain degree or another. As long as you're not falling for this new age trap or even the religious trap, and you're taking control of your life again by listening to my stories and other people's stories, I've accomplished something, and that something is good. So another person's just saying, oh yeah, you're so right about the so-called saints. Mother Teresa was pushed as someone who dedicated her life to helping children. I found out she actually enjoyed seeing these children suffer, total opposite of what the mainstream tells you. Yeah, she's also supposed to be involved with child trafficking when she was still alive, by the way. Anything or anyone that's being put on a pedestal in today's world or realm needs to be questioned. Thank you, Laura. You're welcome. I always love these comments like this one. Are you saying that psychics and also so-and-so and so-and-so are shysters because they promote angels and archangels? Are they leading their followers down the wrong path? I'm curious as to your answer to this. And my answer is, of course they are. Have you not gotten that message yet? Of course they are. First of all they care about, these are names that only care about the money. Okay, you can look up what these names are in the comment section. Like the comments are lift up at this point. These are names that only care about the money. This one person also works with a certain shaman who I know for certain has put entities into a friend's field when she was working with a shaman. So these huge names, they're not up to any good. Whether or not they're doing this intentionally or not intentionally almost doesn't matter anymore at this point. Why? Because they're still doing it. And they're being pushed by the mainstream for a reason. And it's basically like a handler energy too with a lot of these people. You know, they either have a handler behind them, whether or not that handler is a physical handler, like the celebrities have a handler, or they have an energetic handler, which is literally an entity leashing them, just like I've seen with people that I've exposed on this channel. You know, like you can literally see the collar and the leash behind them sometimes when you review the videos. It's just awful. So yeah, of course they're doing that on purpose. Like, what do you think this channel's about? I don't understand. At this point, I don't want to put restrictions on comments, but I know some channels that have this huge list of, if you're just commenting to mention keywords that weren't mentioned in this video for a purpose, if you're just commenting to say something nonsensical, if you're just, you know, I know this channel that has this huge list where they're really saying, if you're just commenting with all this, don't bother commenting. I don't want to put that restriction on this channel because I want this energy to flow freely. But it gets frustrating when you've been preaching about these things for so long, not just on this channel, also the other channel, by the way, and people still don't get it. Like, why are you following this channel is my question. If you're just here to troll or to just question whatever, you know, like the message is clear. These things are not doing you a favor. What else is not clear for you? I just don't get it. That's a small rant, okay? So another person saying random astral entities, Nephilim, demons, archons, trolls, ghosts, etc. All bad, all deceptive. You're not supposed to talk, contract with them, period. Follow the, oh yeah, okay. This is funny. So that first part was funny. And then they're saying, oh, follow Jesus Christ and the Bible. And I'm just like, religion is the biggest soul trap out there. So that's another thing. If you're just a religious nutcase coming to this channel, this is the wrong channel for you as well. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, honey booby. Okay, yes, this is another great one. I've also heard that the white tunnel has been taken down and no longer exists. I think Danon was spreading that myth, right? But even if it does still exist, I believe that we all have the power to turn our backs on this tunnel of lights and focus on heading home to wherever our souls would like to experience, or just home in general. Okay, today I much prefer to listen to my inner moral compass and intuitive gifts. And I was like, where did you, someone asked, where did you hear about the removal of this false white light tunnel? And I'm just like, that's just complete BS. Nothing's been taken down. Whoever's preaching that this tunnel was taken down, you can with certainty know that this person is controlled opposition, because that is like the worst soul trap they're trying to drag you under. Oh, don't worry about it. It's been taken down. And then the moment you die, you see it and you're like, oh no. Laura, you have exposed all nonsense. Sadly, a strong neighbor just dropped dead, heart attack. She did tell me to consult the angels, ayahuasca, etc. for prayers. All those entities say get rid of your ego, or others say they're instruments of channeling. Nasty energy when you don't worship them as hierarchy. Yeah, well, they could have dropped dead because they took the most recent you know what too, but you never know why these people die, right? So this is a good comment. I remember starting to read this book about expanding psychic abilities, connecting to guides. I only got through the first chapter, then I did a meditation, and I stopped meditating because I kept feeling like something scary was coming for me. That night, I woke up on my stomach with sleep paralysis, and only my left arm astral projected through the bed and came up to the right side of me, and I felt this hot breath breathing into my hand, this electric feeling. I was so terrified. I never read a New Age book again after that. A friend of mine said it must have been a connection from a guide, but if it was a friendly, helpful guide, why was I terrified? Your body is going to give you the best reaction ever. Your body clamps up like that when it's about to experience something traumatic. That is like your inner compass, like we already saw in the previous comment. That is your intuition giving you a sign. This is not good. Otherwise, your body would be doing all these butterfly type of feelings, like, you know, the first time you fall in love, those type of things. No, that's not what your body did. Your body went into a full-on sleep paralysis. Brilliant video. I have suffered narcissistic abuse from a woman who was into ghosts and speaking with the dead. Yeah, they're all so much in their ego, aren't they? I have telepathically connected to some race-mixed music celebrities and realized they're really dark entities. Well, a lot of celebrities are just clones at this point, and they have their real body somewhere else, or rather, you don't even know what is their clone, what is not their clone anymore. This is also a good one. Ma'am, it's always these Indians. Nothing against Indians, okay? But I don't understand this entire ma'am or sir thing. I don't know. Okay, ma'am, I am Indian. Please guide me if I should pray to Indian gods. Absolutely not. Is it safe to call them for help? Lord Krishna, Mother Kali, Shiva, saints like Sai Baba, Swami Samarth, etc. After this video, I am in huge doubt. I also don't know whether evildoers ever get punished by the powers of nature. That's a good question. That's like the karma that never comes into fruition, right? So I just said, I do want to have a separate video on Indian gods. And then I asked this person, never got a reply. How many are there exactly according to your belief system? So I'm going to ask you guys, because the number matters, as I think it's all inverted and it actually means something else. I've heard some people say there are like 3 million gods or 300,000 gods. And I really do think the number, whatever they have, is a number of souls, of actual souls on this planet. Has nothing to do with the starseed agenda or the 144,000 chosen ones. That's just New Age garbage. But literally, like, you know, the number of actual souls, and the rest are basically all these clones and AI around them. That's basically what I mean. Oh, this is also a brilliant one. The one channeler that claims to channel Metatron and Prince and Lady Diana, I'm not mentioning her on purpose. I think we all know who at this point. Her appearance over the last few years, if you look at her videos from 4 to 5 years ago, about 3 years ago, her appearance has really changed. I wonder if it's these entities. She almost appears like maybe there's an undiagnosed illness. I have wondered if this is what channeling false light entities does to a person. Maybe this is another way they mess with a person. Well, if you look at some other people I've exposed, especially the ones I've been doing it for like 20, 30 years, what I've noticed, and this is really what I've noticed, not just in the New Age, but specifically in the New Age, they look really unhealthy. You know, some of them are extremely overweight and supposedly vegan because their body's trying to overcompensate with the lost cholesterol and sugar and everything that they're not getting, you know. They're overcompensating with, maybe this person isn't even vegan, she just claims to be vegan. I don't actually care, because veganism is the worst out there and it's so bad for your body. Didn't you just hear this report about this influencer who starved herself to death because she was vegan? So anyhow, a lot of these people who channel these things, who've been around for a while, you can tell they look aged, they look completely unhealthy. And I always find it so funny, and this is even coming from no names, you know, not even the huge names, but even no names that I know. Oh yeah, I've been a shaman for 20 plus years, and I can tell you all about naturopathy and healthy diet, but this person is overweight. She's had like the worst health conditions ever over these past years. She didn't take the, you know what, I know that for sure. But these are like the worst. So if your body's your temple, your body gives you signs that your soul conveys through your body, maybe you should take that and see what your body's lacking, is all I have to say to that. And so I do strongly think, yes, these entities can make you age and very unhealthy and fit, but I also think there's other things going on that these people aren't acknowledging because there's so much in their ego. And that's like a short reply I can have to that. Back to the Indian gods. So no, you shouldn't be praying to Lord Krishna, Mother Kali, Shiva, all those things. No, you're calling in random entities. None of this is good, but I think it deserves a longer video. Do you have videos on the hell realm? No, not yet. Maybe in the future. It's a bit complicated because there's so much that goes into it, and there's people think we're in the hell realm right now. We're not in the hell realm here. We are connected to it, which is also why parts of your pieces, essence pieces, soul pieces can be siphoned off into the hell realm. You can make a contract with the devil or with demons, but you're not really in the hell realm. At least I guess some people are, but most people, especially people who are kind of awake to this, whatever's going on. I'm not talking about new agers, but people who are really awake to, we're being deceived. We're somewhere here in this matrix reality. I don't think we're in the hell realm. No, there is a connection to where we are right now and the hell realm, because the hell realm is right below us. And there is this fluidity between them for sure. But in short, no, we're not in the hell realm. Oh, another one, very valuable video. I never understood the ancestors thing because it was totally contradictory to reincarnation. That's true. Because if you just say, oh, I'm a reincarnated ancestor, which most likely you are, because reincarnation occurs in the same bloodline, typically. Meaning, okay, what I've also found, and I don't want to say this because I mean, I'm going to say it, even though people who think racism exists and everything think it's going to be racist. If you are reincarnated as a Black person right now, chances are you were a white slave owner in a previous lifetime, especially if I'm not saying all Black people, but if you are an African-American person and you are so mad about racism, first of all, you're feeding into an agenda that doesn't really exist anyhow. It's just something that was put out to control you even more on all levels. Yes, racism exists, but it also exists towards white people. It also exists towards Hispanic people. It exists towards every single culture out there. Okay. Not downplaying that, but especially the super duper angry Black people here in the US, I've noticed that some of them were white slave owners in previous lives. And that's kind of like their karma to be reincarnated like that, to experience the other side. If you believe in that entire reincarnation thing, of course. And by karma, I don't mean in a good way. It's just like these entities make contracts with them to reincarnate like that, basically. So I do agree that this entire ancestor thing is complete BS, because first of all, if the ancestors had it all figured out, we're still here. So excuse me, you little Mayan ancestor or Native American ancestor, you certainly did not have it figured out. Why are we still stuck here? We're still stuck in this trap or reincarnation cycle. And so I do agree with that. There's so much that just plays into it, and it can't just be pushed off onto just one or another thing. About the archangels, I had a really bad experience too. And my parents are Hare Krishna, and I have been in many Hare Krishna prayers during my life. They've never had a bad experience. I've seen Hare Krishnas, because you have them here too, literally lose their mind here in New York. And they're definitely a cult. So this person's basically insinuating praying to Jesus and Hare Krishna and God is not bad, but everything that has to do with New Age is. No, I completely disagree with that. And shamans or others pushing ancestors are no better than psychics and tarot readers who call upon the angels, in my opinion. That's kind of what I said to that. So this entire thing, praying to Jesus, you're praying to a fake entity, because Jesus that's not the person you're praying to, okay? Or it's not Jeshua, it's not the original person who was alive. When I was starting to initiate into the Golden Dawn and started working with our angels and archangels, my life went to hell. This is what one person said. Yep, that's exactly what so many others have confirmed to me. And I've seen it firsthand as well. Until a few years ago, everyone worshipped Archangel Michael on all Abrahamic religions, Christian, Judaism, Muslim, as well as New Age and Doreen Virtue. Now it is accepted. It's maybe all demonic or archonic. Things change so fast. In 20 years, it will be different again. Well, all I have to say in regards to Doreen Virtue, She turned crazy a long time ago, anyhow. But it's true. Archangel Michael can be found in our, that should give you an understanding of how controlled this entire agenda is, right? Archangel Michael, by the way, has the most aggressive and angry energy I've ever dealt with. And I'm not saying that lightly. So whatever entity is behind that is very evil. I definitely got turned off the New Age from 2020 on when no one of that network were questioning it, especially the many magazines proving they're just mainstream hookers too. Yeah, it's correct. You know, you look at this Lionsgate, like the mainstream's jumping on that. Also with Mercury retrograde and all those things. I had suicidal thoughts when I was in my early 20s and I was living with a psychic family and her partner and 2 kids. That was quite screwy. I came home and began to sort myself out, but it made me realize that so-called mediums don't know anything. They are as dumb and manipulated as non-psychics. That's true. And they have a huge ego behind it as well. Their ego is overblown compared to what they really know. If you've ever had a psychic reading and it's never come true, you know exactly what I mean. Because I had a lot of those psychic readings where people are like, oh, this is definitely going to come true. And then year rolls in and I'm like, this never came true. How dare you even still be in business? You know, basically that's all I could think about when I think about those type of readings. Oh yeah, this is another good one. This is like a typical New Age reply. I think some people calling in archangels do not know how to discern the energy, and you have to learn from a good teacher. Right, if I could have this button where it's like, meh. You know, the one that where people push it and like interrupt people. That's the button I need right now. I am an IET, integrated energy therapy master instructor. Wow. This is like the ego you already see. Master instructor of whatever BS no one cares about, honestly. We work with 9 specific healing angels. I am also a traditional You're Silly Reiki master teacher, and my Reiki master, who is Todd 51 of the 22 original. Like, I can't even read this entire comment because it has so many buzzwords where I just want to take this person and turn upside down. You kind of put some sanity in this person. So first of all, Reiki, the Reiki symbols can be used as portals to call in more entities. They can also imprint and encode people. Do not work with those. Todd 51 of the 22 original sounds to me like the 144,000 star seeds in this 9 billion people world. It means nothing. It's just another agenda. It's just another hypnosis. And it's just to make you feel better about your life going to hell, basically. I also went to a metaphysical ministry school where we also study quantum physics, blah, blah, blah. I have only had the most loving, inspirational connections when I call in these divine beings. I'm very cautious about flying in the astral realm. I don't think this person knows anything about the astral realm if she doesn't get any of this. I do not get that Archangel Michael is of African descent. I don't really care. If you're coming to my channel to put this rubbish comment below, like, you deserve to be made fun of, honestly, because you've really not understood. And she's talking about remembering life. I don't know if it's a he or she. Remembering lifetimes in Atlantis and Lemuria. You mean Lemuria? It's spelled L-E, not L. See, this, like, these people misspell things that you can easily look up online that the New Age pushes, and they can't even spell Lemuria correct. It's Lemuria. And it's like, that doesn't exist. What are you talking about? Ancient Egypt is a healer and blah, blah. So I already debunked how ancient Egypt has the energy of con men, and how the original Egypt has nothing to do with ancient Egypt at all, and how it's not even Egypt, it's Sudan. So most people really don't get it. All I had to say, so I'm not reading this entire comment because it has so many trigger and buzzwords where I would be just on the floor laughing if I were to read this entire comment. And I'm really not saying it to be mean. So people need to understand, I'm not doing these videos to call out these shysters and be mean. I'm doing it to show you how strong the programming is and how people on my channel still comment this stuff. how do you want me to reply to, honestly, like, comment below, how do you want me to reply to this? Because I can't take you serious. If you believe you're one of the 55, 21 to 55, you spell Lemuria wrong, you don't know anything really. I really can't take this serious. Like, just the energy of reading through this comment, I really do feel, at this point, a lot of these people are controlled by the CIA, know nothing about anything really, and they're just soulless robotoids who are here to see distraction and really distract me, the channel owner, and other people in this channel, like the community that this channel has built, really distract it from the main mission. And the main mission is, how do we get out of here? Or where are we really? How can we make our life, less controlled by the matrix and all those things? I really do think these people, that's the sole purpose of their entire life. And I just replied, what a load of garbage you're pushing. If you need to call upon entities that disguise themselves as archangels or other false white light, you have already given your power away eons ago, and you have not understood my message or even the purpose of my channel and what I teach. Go back to your new age and religious nonsense and leave the people alone who want to learn and wake up from all the deceptions being thrown at us. I think that's going to be my standard reply at this point. I feel this is just an ongoing rant video on people who don't get it. Okay, real quick, I want to go over to this one ayahuasca comment where a person legit, once again, a random new ager comes to this channel, has no idea what this channel is about. I've taken Aya for 14 years. Imagine taking a psychedelic for 14 years and still not seeing what's going on. Like, for me, that's mind blowing. As someone who has dealt with psychedelics myself, and I've not taken them for 14 years, by the way, and who from the first trip where I took a psychedelic knew we're in an artificial world. There's AI all around us. How this person has taken Aya for 14 years. If you take an ayahuasca for 14 years, you're addicted to ayahuasca. That's all I have to say to that. And so how she still doesn't get how all of this is here, as it, like, the new age is a trap around you, this matrix is around, like, how do you not understand that? So this person goes on saying, it's extremely transformative, blah, blah. I mean, we already kind of covered how whatever you're getting with ayahuasca is not the pure ayahuasca anyhow, and how ayahuasca, I mean, this entire video, just watch the ayahuasca video. Do note that not everyone taking it is mentally stable. So I would not recommend drawing conclusions based on someone else's experience. It has changed my life, and we love working with the plant. You have no idea what the plant even is. That's what I'm drawing a conclusion from your comment. And you cannot get addicted to it. That is false. I know at least 2 people who got addicted to it. So whatever you're pushing, you have no idea. And you've been taking it for 14 years. How are you not addicted to it? I mean, it's just the ridiculousness of her comments. In fact, I know a man that has come off heroin by taking Aya. It cures addiction. I am sorry, this talk is so disappointing to me. And I'm just replying, being like, what do you think about the sexual assaults that happen to these young women participating in these so-called ceremonies by the so-called shamans? Please defend those as well. And this is like, what does Aya have to do with it? It's a human issue, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, stop spiritual bypassing and pretending these retreats are the greatest thing out there. They're not. And she kind of compares it to, it's like saying you won't go to a doctor again because there are doctors that have abused women sexually, blah, blah. And I'm like, first of all, I don't go to doctors because doctors are infiltrated. As we know, doctors know nothing at this point. If you want to go somewhere, go to a naturopath. And yeah, you're right. A lot of doctors do sexually abuse women. So you have to be careful of that. So she just tries to diminish this entire message, but she kind of diminishes her own self. And this other person, this is the best thing ever. This other person debunks everything. He's like, that's not true at all. I know a spiritual facilitator who takes cocaine and Aya because he's an addict. It can be abused. So, people are really waking up to this entire thing. And if you're leaving a comment on this channel like that, I'm going to make a video on it and put you in there. Like, I'm showing my face to the entire world with this channel. You have a little tiny thumbnail that oftentimes doesn't even show your real face. You don't even have a channel most of the time. And you come to my channel, try to troll and try to debunk whatever because it doesn't fit into your perception of reality. I'm sorry. You're in your ego. If I find a channel that doesn't fit into my perception of reality, I don't care. I don't watch that channel. Just as an example, if you're triggered enough to go here, you deserve to be called out. Unless, you have something nice to say, I'm going to call you out on that too, obviously. We need some positivity, right? I think there was something, oh yes, nature. I know this video is getting a little bit longer than I intended it to be, so I hope you're still following, especially my ADHD people. The ones that hold their attention for 15 minutes or longer. So there were a few comments on this where I was talking about nature and New Age symbols. And then there was this comment, a lot of these symbols are found in nature, like not the tree of life, but some of these squares and shapes that you find in nature. So I'm going to read from my phone. I found this amazing post lately. There is a war on consciousness. Everything organic was turned to stone to prevent getting out of this plane. The massive trees of life were crystalline after the war and then mined as the cover-up. All life perished and a re-engineered version of life was introduced in an attempt to hijack and control this realm in a locked and low vibrational frequency. And that's not like in a New Age way, by the way, it's just the way it is. There's a higher vibration, a lower vibration. Your clothes can actually lower your vibration if you wear synthetic, plastic, all of that. And then certain clothes actually heighten your vibration. Like it's just the vibration in the form of frequency, not in the New Age, raise your vibration, go to 5D. No, not in that way. Here, now, consciousness has embedded itself in life yet again. And as the most intelligent and capable of life forms here now, we all have a duty and responsibility to play our part in this ongoing war of dark versus the light. Not all battles are the same. Not all battlefields are the same. Though we stay the same in our core. And I agree with that. We stay the same from lifetime to lifetime. Our DNA stays the same too. And we came to dismantle this hijacking in the name of spirit, righteousness, and just whatever you want, in the name of whatever, in the name of your own self. So either stand up to assist or get out of the way. There's work to be done. And I 100% agree with that, because this is a spiritual war. And this is a battle we're in right now. And it's been that way for a little while. But 2020 really showed us this. And all these New Agers blowing up all of a sudden, religion blowing up all of a sudden, it's not a coincidence. It's because people are desperate and they're being shoved in the wrong direction. They're being shoved towards the New Age. Here, find your light, but in a disempowering way. And the religion, it's the same what I said in my post on my community tab with the false morals, all of that. People have no morals in the New Age, and then they jump over to the religion that has this false sense of morality. So I just want to end this video with a few more thoughts. It's not going to be too much longer. Do you remember any of these entities as a child? Like, most likely not. Okay, unless you were severely damaged or programmed as a kid already, which, by the way, most people are when they experience PTSD as an adult because they had a traumatic childhood. Yeah, sure, you had imaginary friends, okay? But that wouldn't base your decisions, or you wouldn't base your decisions or your life off of these friends. You wouldn't go to these imaginary friends or whatever's around you as a kid and be like, do you think I should do this or that? You would just be playing with them, right? You would just be, okay, so now I'm lonely. Here's my whatever is around me. And imaginary friends can be entities, by the way. So you have to be careful with that. When you see a kid having imaginary friends, you need to be aware that there could be a malevolent entity around them. So why, as an adult, do you have to base your decisions off of these so-called spirit guides, or misguides, as I like to call them? Or why do you have to base your life off of them? The way the New Age wants you to do it, the way religion wants you to do it. Why hand your power over to them? I can tell you why. Because it's a form of escapism. Escaping your own responsibility, your own reality, and your own life because you don't like what you see. And I know that because I've been there too. We've all been there. Everyone who's exposing this has been there at one point in their life. If your life were truly wonderful, you would see no reason to call upon these entities. I can tell you one thing. If everything was going perfect, you had whatever you wanted. You had that love of your life, like whatever you want, you know, like the riches, the whatever it is, you would see no reason to call upon these entities because you have everything, you know. But simply, and this is really the danger, because a lot of people who fall for these things are just these traumatized souls, or people who, okay, let me go on. You would see no reason to call upon these entities. You would feel amazing and empowered, and you would literally be thinking, wow, I created this wonderful life. I don't need to take advice from anyone. That's what you would be thinking. But for most people, the new age and religion attracts the wounded, the traumatized, the ones who have gone through the ringer. And it is dangerous. So here you have the vulnerable and the hopeful people who were never taught how to take responsibility ever for their life and in their lives. They were never taught how to create, how to manifest their reality, although subconsciously they are constantly doing just that. And that's why you need to be aware of the programming that's going on around you, you know, your TV, your phone, your everything. They're manifesting the good, the bad, and the neutral in a form or another. And I know it's hard to hear, especially when you just got fired from a job or you just lost a friend. And of course, there's so much that plays into it, like free will from other people, you know, all of that is a role, such as the death of others. However, we have way more power over our reality than any of these cults want us to believe. And that is not taught when calling in these entities, because if you were fully in your power, you don't ask others for advice. You simply do it. And we all know that. Yeah, you don't have to ask your spirit guides if you want to eat breakfast or if you want to go to this and that. Like, you just do it, right? I once had a friend who was so insecure that as a teenager, she would ask her parents, her friends, her teachers, whatever to do. What am I going to do with this guy, with that situation? And you know what? And this is not even a person who was religious or in the New Age. She always got the worst advice from all of them. She got the worst advice from her teacher, from her friends, from her parents, because her parents didn't want her to date this guy. The teacher didn't want, you know, so she always got the worst advice from all of them, because people are following their own agendas and their own perceptions, and they only see that situation from their own perspective. They're not going to give you the best advice because they're not you, and they're following their own agenda. If they don't want you doing that, they're going to give you that type of advice. And most often, these people were the closest to her. I actually don't even know what happened to this friend, but I do hope she took her power back and simply went about her life without asking anyone anymore for advice other than herself. Because others, including entities, these entities around you, are not meant to drive your vehicle. Your vehicle meaning your body, your life, your everything. They're not meant to drive your life. You are. And all these messed up astral entities and other beings are really just there to mess with you. They really do mess up your life. You've seen it in the comments that I just mentioned. I've seen it happen in my own life, and I've seen it happen in many other people's lives. And there's no advice in the world that anyone outside of you should ever be given you. You should be taking your own advice. All right. I hope this helps someone at least. And thank you so much for tuning in. Got a little bit longer, a little bit more heated than I wanted it to be. But, you know, when you're passionate about something, that's just what happens. And I hope you have a wonderful day and you have some time to consider all of this. Comment below. But be aware, I don't take well to comments that are still new agey or religious. And until then, have a good one. Bye, guys.